Let me get this intro going. Listen, man. Today is Friday, September 14th.
Yes, sir.
Another episode of Let's Talk Battle Rap. We in the studio, NYC. First and foremost, I want to say, because we took a little break, V, you and I.
We took a little battle rap
We took a little
vacation.
hiatus. We took a 2-week break because August was crazy. We covered 4 events every weekend.
We dropped like 20 episodes.
And some updates
22.
22 episodes. Crazy. And some updates for everybody. We got some additions to the team.
Hell yeah.
We added on Tim Nielsen from Genius, the battle rap transcriber, the maniac that sits there and listens to all these lyrics and puts it into a website for us to digest. Shout outs to the other guys on the team, Bad Money.
Yes, sir.
And shout outs to Dylan,
Yes,
our
sir.
analyst as well. And on the show, big friend of the show, one of the first episodes ever of the show.
The actual first interview you did for the show.
Yeah,
right?
exclusive, because B-Dot was actually my first interview ever.
That's crazy.
And on the phone, we have B-Dot, a.k.a. 1/3 of Team Vegan.
Welcome, player. Welcome, man. Welcome. Team Vegan with the clean sweep over there at the at Rare Breeds, man. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
That's an absolute fact, man. Plant-based diet.
Everybody looks so focused and clear-minded up there, man. That show was crazy.
It's crazy. They all battle somebody from Harlem, too. Like
3 vegans versus
three
3
Harlem
Harlemites,
guys.
man. Nutty, man.
Yeah. That's a fact.
ARP's the
that
evil.
shit was legendary.
ARP's a little genius over there, man, for that.
I guess the first thing I got to say to you, right, because it's crazy we spoke almost a year ago. And a year ago before we spoke, you didn't even do your PG. Now here you are passing your test in New York, right?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Back-to-back
man,
New York
time flies,
trips.
man. It feel like we was just, having that conversation not too long ago. But yeah, man, a lot has occurred in that time span for sure.
Hell yeah, man. That whole question of can B-Dot hang in New York, that whole question has totally been answered. And now you're coming back, man. This is your second trip back-to-back in New York.
The funny thing is, it's technically still unanswered because now the new question is, okay, can he hang in New York in front of the URL crowd?
Oh,
URL! Can he hang with us?
Yeah, man. You know how it goes.
Man.
It's always something.
Always moving the goal line, man. Always moving the goal line. You know what I mean?
That's a fact, dude. That's a fact.
Yo,
That's a fact.
I still can't believe we don't know what kind of venue it is. Like, that's still kind of suspenseful, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what kind of environment it's going to be in.
apparently it's a private event. Like, what's going on?
We don't know if it's private, if it's public. You know what I'm saying,
No, I
man?
don't think it's, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a private event.
Okay.
I guess they don't want us to say anything about the location.
Okay.
But I can tell you it's not going to be a private event. No. This is going to be, it's going to be a big event.
Man, with that being said, we are in the building, man.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah.
You know what I just noticed about B-Dot every time he battles on URL?
What's up?
It's like he comes with a package, him and Geechee. Him and Geechee have been on every card together.
Oh, that's ill, man. That's the 1-2
Well,
punch, man.
every time you see B-Dot, Geechee's on the card as well.
Facts, man.
And Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's some old family. That's family ties right there, man. That's fire, man.
Yeah, man. West is booming, man. We here.
Been booming, man.
Hey, what's going to happen with you and Geechee doing a 2-on-2? Are we ever going to see that?
We already booked. We're already locked
What?
in for a 2-on-2.
Oh, what? Damn.
we already locked in, man.
Can you disclose anything about
we're
that?
locked in for a 2-on-2 out here in California.
Okay.
In November, I believe.
Damn, that's some exclusive news right there. I don't think I've heard that anywhere else, right?
Yeah, I mean, people have been asking me, and I've been saying it. I don't know, it just ain't caught on yet. I guess after this joint, I guess the league, because it's a smaller league out here in LA, or actually out here in San Diego. So,
shout out to Dago.
What's the duo's name?
Yeah, shout out to Dago.
You guys came up with a name yet?
No, we haven't. I don't think we agree. I think Geechee got a name, and I got a name I like. I don't think we agree on a name. You feel me?
Man.
It's all good. We came up with a name, but we definitely came up with some rounds. You feel me? So that's already.
Yo, that's gonna be dope, man.
We already got some shit going. You feel me? It's dope. I really like the 2-on-2 thing because it's interesting when you work with somebody, you pick up new habits. You know what I mean? Because they flow and they come up with bars a certain way. You know what I mean? Obviously, me and Geechee's style is completely different, but it's dope the way that we're coming together and coming up with bars together, bro. So I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Oh, that's gonna be fire. Who you guys battling?
I don't want to say that yet.
NDA.
Okay. Hey, man, I figure I'll ask. You know what I'm saying? I figure I'd ask.
It's definitely a big deal. I'll just say that.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see this, man. Damn, battle rap's in a little groove right now, man. That's fire.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun, man. Really looking forward to that one.
Beat out, man. I wanna now that we have Tim on the phone, man, I want to talk a bit about your rounds, your pen. And you kind of talked to me in the past of how you structure your rounds, and you care so much for round structure. Like, you don't like filler. You like everything to be tailored. You like everything to have concrete substance. Let's talk about it. I have two of your third rounds in front of me, right? Because apparently you've been undefeated in the third round this your career, right? That's but
that's what they say.
That's what they say. But I have your Cortez third round, and I also have your Mike P third round, which Tim also transcribed. I think like in 2 days, Tim, like a couple days after the battle.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. Yeah. I want to say the day after, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, there's just some battles where I'm just like, as soon as I watch it, I'm like inspired to do it. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, people need to get their hands on this like right away. And it's almost like a monkey on my back where I'm just like, you know what? People are dependent on me, man. I got to get this out. It's super hot, you know? And that's when you know it's a really good battle, you know?
Yeah, facts.
Tim, which round should we start with, man? Your call.
Hey, let's do the beat out one, man. Or sorry, the Cortez battle.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, this is where I want to start here. Round 3 starts on beat out. I apologize. Part of my anger. I'm just upset with the fact you act like I won't harm or blaze you. Like I'm coming to square from Bel Air. Blood cousin of who? Will still swinging arms. This is Carlton will bank you. I like the whole little start from there already, and that battle you picked to like leave the conscious side. Like I was like, I guess one of your debut battles where you're like, yo, I'm not on the conscious shit today, and you completely switched it up. What was? I mean,
you know what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell a complete story. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I abandoned consciousness, but I wanted to tell a complete story. I just felt like a lot of the battlers were getting the wrong impression of me and thinking that they can approach me all kind of disrespectful ways, you know, on Twitter and call me fake Lux and call me this and call me that. And I think they was really getting the wrong idea of me. I just wanted to make a statement to the whole culture, like, bro, don't get yourselves fucked up out here, man, because I will really hurt one of y'all. Y'all gotta start respecting me. You can have your opinion, but don't play me like I'm some square just because I use big words. Like, we're not going to do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? So this battle is just a battle where I wanted to bring everything full circle. So what I tried to do is talk about my upbringing, talk about my gang affiliation, but then bring it all the way home. And this is why this third round is probably my personal favorite third round of mine, because I think I probably did the best job of, like, just bringing a whole theme all the way home and tying everything about the whole battle together in this particular third.
Tim, what were some of the things that stood out to you when you were creating the lyrics for the battle? Like, you kept listening, and I know you told me there were certain things that you didn't understand as well while you were creating it.
No, absolutely, man. And I was saying to be that last night, I was surprised how much research that I had to do. So obviously, as a battle rap fan, you can, especially as someone who's like just starting, let's say, you kind of gravitate towards material and some of the lines that hit, but you may not understand all of them, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what I think kind of exemplifies B-Dot's third round, because I remember, really liking it, but there was so much of the history that B-Dot was talking about that I wasn't familiar with. And so it wasn't until I started like really breaking this down and finding out what B-Dot was talking about that there was a whole extra layer to this writing that I couldn't appreciate because I didn't know it. And I kind of want to bring that back to what France and Program B were talking about at a podcast a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, what makes a good pen? And Vlad, you were saying how a good pen is someone who has layers. You know, there's not just a surface layer. There's deeper meaning behind every line. And you got to listen to it a couple times to like actually appreciate it. But on the other hand, you can't be so deep that, you know, the average battle rap consumer doesn't get any of it. And so that's what I think is really dope about this round is me not knowing this deeper level. I could still really appreciate what you did and still thought you won that round and thought you were great. But when I went even deeper into it, I got an even better appreciation for what you were trying to go through, you know, what you were trying to say and the extra meanings behind the things that you were saying to Cortez. And that's why I was surprised when you first started that you wanted to go through this round. But after I started breaking down the bars, I'm like, now I see why he wants to go through it. There's so much material. There's so much substance in this.
Yeah.
What makes it your favorite?
Yeah. And there's so much history.
Absolutely.
So I think one of the things was just about Cortez himself, Hernan Cortez, and the history there. I'd heard of him being a conquistador and taking over part of Mexico or whatever, but it wasn't until I started going into the history of it that I realized how much he had done and how that ended up kind of correlating to what to an angle you were taking with Cortez. Can you kind of talk about a little bit about why you chose Cortez? Was it was a topic you had already known, and that Cortez would be a good opponent to take this out on?
It's a topic I already knew, but the reason why I took Cortez is alluding back to what I was just saying about like how some of these battle rappers talk to me. Me and Cortez had kind of gotten to a back and forth on Twitter because one day he just decided to go on a B-Dot rant. I woke up one day and I looked at my Twitter and Cortez is on Twitter just saying, yo, get this B-Dot nigga the fuck out of here. This fake Lux, y'all like him.
Oh, man.
Okay. He was just going off, and I was like, yo, that's how you feel. You know, we start going back and forth. And then, I was just like, all right, set it up. Now, I was in King of the Dot seeing us arguing, Organic seeing us arguing. So Organic jumped in my inbox and was like, yo, you want me to set this up? And I was like, yeah, set it up. So that's how the battle actually came about.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how the battle came about. As soon as I get my opponent, though, I just start to just buckle down and try to create angles and figure out what I'm going to say. So off bat, man, the whole Hernan Cortez angle was just one of the things that was just on the tip of my brain just as soon as that battle was booked. And what I wanted to do in this battle, like I was telling you, the reason why I picked this round is because of the misconception. There's a lot of people saying that this angle didn't work because they don't understand. They thought I was calling Cortez Mexican and only specifically talking about what Hernan Cortez did to the region that we currently call Mexico, or the region that we currently call Southern California, or any of the west coast of this continent, all the way down where the Aztec Empire kind of controlled. Mm-hmm. They think that I'm specifically calling Cortez a Mexican and da-da-da-da. So they're like, oh, he's off base with that. They're not understanding that I'm making the correlation just between Spanish colonizers in general. They both came over around the 1500s. They went over to what we currently call Puerto Rico, and they colonized that area and killed off those indigenous people. Mm-hmm. And they went to the west coast of this continent and went to war with the Aztec Empire. So it's the same people. You know what I mean? It's the same Spanish conquistadors that did it. So my thing was, the angle I was making was, okay, here's a couple problems with you, Cortez. You're proudly saying that you're Puerto Rican, and actually I've heard you proudly also say that you're Taino, which off top, that's a contradiction, because by calling yourself Puerto Rican, you are admitting that your ancestors were colonized, and you're taking on a name that the Spaniards gave your area that they colonized and used as a rich port and used as a way to trade and bargain and sell things on your land that they killed your ancestors on. So to call yourself Puerto Rican is already a flaw, and then also say you're Taino and claim your Taino ancestry. So that's contradictory right there. And also, I wanted to tie into the fact that your name, like you're bearing the name of Cortez, so you're actually named after somebody that came over to where we're currently at when the battle took place in Los Angeles. You're named after somebody that came over to this region and went to war with the Aztec Empire, and was the reason the Aztec Empire, or one of the reasons, one of the main reasons the Aztec Empire fell. So I was making the correlation between those two concepts and those two ideas, which are basically the same idea, which is Spanish colonization happened to the Tainos and it happened to the Aztecs. And I'm tying the two together by you saying that you're Puerto Rican and Taino, and by the location that we're currently battling. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to break this round down for people that may have been confused about the angle I was taking and why I was even talking about Hernan Cortez. You know what I mean? Like it all makes sense. It all ties together.
And, you know, I remember the first interview we had, we talked about this round a little bit like off air, and we kind of like had like not a back and forth, but we kind of like understood each other, right? And the only thing I will always ask you like before, and I guess now you have the opportunity to re-explain it to the platform and to everybody listening. See, like Puerto Ricans in their heritage, we're mixed. There's African, there's indigenous, there's Caribbean, you know. So in a sense, you know, what do you want a Latino to identify themselves as? Taino or Spanish, you know?
Well, I mean, that's up to whomever is. So, for instance, I'm a descendant of African slaves. On my mother's side, they can trace their lineage back to a black slave woman that was raped by one of the presidents, Zachary Taylor. Wow. Yeah, so I'm in my blood is European. Because, yeah, well, shit, I'm not claiming it. I'm not glorifying it. You know what I mean? I'm saying that's terrible because one of my ancestors was raped. You know what I'm saying? So now there's European in my blood. There's European in my family. So it's up to me. So what do I do? So I have the choice at that point because of the act, because of how it happened. I can say, oh, I'm mixed. I'm African and European, or I can just denounce that because of the way that it happened. You know, from a scientific perspective, from a genetic perspective, you know, of course, like I have European ancestry in me because of that. But from a political perspective or a nationalistic perspective, I can make the choice to say what I am. I can say, no, I'm African, you know, by way of political views and everything. I'm Pan-African. The way that my worldview is Pan-African. You know what I'm saying? So I can make that choice. So for the people of Puerto Rico, it's very interesting because, like we were talking about last time, a large portion of them genetically are predominantly Spaniard because that's what happens in war. Spaniards come over, they kill all the indigenous men off, and then they have sex with their women. So obviously, in the blood, in the DNA, it's going to be more European Spaniard than it's going to be indigenous Taino. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a product of that, if you're a descendant of that, it's up to you to claim what you are. If you are a quote unquote African Puerto Rican, I mean, to throw Puerto Rican on it is kind of like, to me, it's just kind of like pointless, because what you're saying is that your ancestors are from Africa. They were brought to Puerto Rico for slave reasons. So the same way that my ancestors were brought to Virginia or whatever slave port that they were brought to, it's the same difference. So for somebody that's quote unquote African Puerto Rican, you know, it's just about how you view life and how you view history. I mean, if you just want to say, yo, whatever, I'm mixed and that's just what I want it to be, you know, I can respect it. But for me, I just think that's just a poor way to view your ancestors and what they had to go through. And for me personally, I want to uphold the memory of my ancestors and from which they come from prior to colonization and prior to oppression. So if I were an African Puerto Rican, I would say I'm African. The same way I'm a quote unquote African American and I say I'm African. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And for me, right?
So I mean, that's just.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, that just speaks to the levels, and there's so many layers to your writing where there's a whole history here that a lot of people who listen to this round aren't gonna get or aren't familiar with, but the people who do are really gonna appreciate it. And is that something that you think about when you're writing? Are you like, man, people are going to misinterpret this. This is going to go over a lot of people's heads. Is that something where you feel like you need to almost dumb it down a bit?
Yeah, well, I just feel like the misinterpretation comes from miseducation. So either it's going to be misinterpreted or it's not going to be interpreted at all because the person's just not educated on the matter. Like yourself, you said you didn't necessarily know those things. You just thought I was a dope rapper. So when you did the research, which is all about, I just think it's dope. I think it's dope to use art for educational purposes. You know what I'm saying? So not only are you entertained, you get educated at the same time. And that's my goal. So I think it's really dope that you were able to transcribe the third round and then actually do research on it, verifiable research, which is also what I'm about, because I don't want to get up there and ever make a fool of myself by making statements that can't be validated and verified.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I pride myself on that. I do the due diligence. I do the proper research. I cross-reference. I do all the things proper because I'm about truth. I'm not about an agenda. Right. I'm about truth. I'm not just going to perpetuate something that I feel aligns with my agenda. Like I'm going to talk truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this third round is really all about. And that's why it's one of my favorite third rounds. Cause I just think that, one of the main things I think is that not to minimalize us to colors, but I believe that Black and brown people need to do a better job sticking together. You know what I mean? And I think that doesn't happen. And instead of, a lot of people thought I was going to attack Cortez and call him, pejoratives and use derogative terms like you wet and all that stupid shit,
right?
That destructive racial stupid shit. When I much rather just educate him on his history and just ask him, do you know these things? Are you aware? You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is more powerful than just getting in there and just being like, racially disrespectful and calling somebody names. You know what I'm saying? So that was my goal for this battle, and it's one of my most polished rounds in my opinion, especially when you think about how I tied in the gang culture at the beginning of the round. Since you have it transcribed, you can probably break that down because I don't even remember word for word. But
right.
Go to the beginning.
Okay,
sorry,
right here. I got it right here, right?
Go.
But who taught me the bangers? The power rules. You never caught me with the wanksters, and they was like, "Oh, you down with OPB?" I guess they can see it was naughty by nature. That line, and then you started talking about the Black Panthers next, and then this you go. We're all bastards of the parties. Our father, Black Panthers, who question authority. They plot the answers. Disorganize us. UCLA. I like the wordplay on that. UCLA been banging ever since a bunch of y'all got shot on that campus.
Yeah, so that whole little part right there is very important. So what I was talking about right there, I said, we just bastards of the party. So I was referring to the Black Panther Party. When the Black Panther Party was dismantled by COINTELPRO, the youth, the young teenagers, the young Black youth in the inner cities of Oakland and Los Angeles no longer had elders and people to look up to for guidance. So those young brothers ended up being the guys who started gangs. Your Tookie Williams, your Raymond Washingtons, and those individuals who started the Crips. And then obviously the Bloods were formed to protect themselves against the Crips. And all this happened because the Black Panther Party was shut down by the COINTELPRO. So what I was saying is bastards in terms of, not having any fathers. So I say we are bastards of the party. Our fathers, Black Panthers who questioned authority, they plot on the answers, disorganized us. So what they did was COINTELPRO pinned two Black groups against each other. You had the Black Panther Party, then you had Organization Us. Organization Us was also a Black power movement in Los Angeles. So what COINTELPRO ran by the FBI, what they were doing was they were sending propaganda back and forth between the organizations, acting like this organization was talking shit about this one, basically just stirring up gossip, you know what I'm saying, and causing these internal problems within the community. So these two organizations actually started to have some type of beef and have some type of rift. So that's why I say I played on words there. The organization was called Organization Us, and I say disorganized us, like they disorganized us. So I say we just bastards at a party. Our fathers, Black Panthers, who questioned authority. They plot on the answers, disorganized us. And so let me stop there and talk about Bunchy Carter. Bunchy Carter was the prominent leader of the Black Panther Los Angeles division, and he was murdered at UCLA campus while he was giving a speech. Yep. And some say he was murdered by the COINTELPRO, by the FBI. It was a setup, and they tried to pin it on Organization Us. They tried to say Organization Us were the ones who actually killed Bunchy Carter.
Yeah, basically divide and conquer.
Disorganized us, UCLA, like I'm saying UCLA, but I'm also talking like you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying UCLA been banging ever since they shot Bunchy on that campus. So I say after Bunchy Carter was killed on that campus, that's when gang banging started, because the young brothers didn't have any guidance anymore, because basically the Black Panther Party kind of just fell apart after that. So to run that whole thing back again, say bastards of the party, our fathers question authority, they plot on the answers. UCLA disorganized us. UCLA been banging ever since they shot Bunchy on that campus. But you wouldn't understand this, especially since your man just came to Los Angeles. So I'm tying it, you know what I'm saying? Everything I say, I try to tie together with a point. So I wanted to make that's very important to me. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever said when I broke down that whole thing, because it goes with the whole theme of the battle. Because everyone's like, well, why are you all of a sudden you're talking this blood talk? I thought you were this conscious guy. Well, I am, but I'm giving you the whole spiel on what happened to my community out here in LA and LA County. So we were conscious people. We were positive people, but the FBI infiltrated, killed our movement. And then with no guidance, these young brothers who were approaching adulthood, approaching being men, they were 13, 14, 15 years old. They took it upon themselves to start organizations that were supposed to protect the community, but they're young and they're out of control, and they lost their way. And so I'm explaining that's the same way with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from this environment, but I'm also conscious. But let me bring this all together so it makes sense, so you understand the perspective of the LA native, LA County native that lived in this environment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, B-Dot, I think
man, that's
I'm sorry. I think you had some ill lines right before that I just want to touch on that kind of sums up exactly what you just said right there. When you said sword versus sword, where I'm from, we had to sharpen the razor. And for me, I think that's such a deep line, because when you think sword versus sword, you think, man teaching man, like, yo, this is how we got to do it. But when you said we had to sharpen the razor, that goes to show you, like, we don't even have swords. Swords are this long. We have this little razor, and with the razor, you could imagine how many other things you could do with the razor. So with just that one line, if you're listening to the lines within the lines, you see exactly what you're saying there. You know what I'm saying? And then you switch it up to the this is way before I became a conscious, provocative thinker, with the mind of Einstein combined with Elijah's behavior. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I like to look at little lines like that, where it's like you're telling a whole story within that line. Like, yo, we come from impoverished backgrounds, we're disenfranchised, we ain't have much, but yet we still are working, you know what I'm saying, to try to get what we're going to. And then you go into the whole who taught me and, the Pacoma Pi Ruse and everything like that. And I think, like, just looking at it, it's like it's still modeled that years later, where you have, your big homies, teaching you, even through all of this oppression, and you still manage to find your way into this conscious lifestyle now. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to touch on those lines right there, because I think people can miss just within two lines, like, how deep something can get. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
And for me, V, it's funny you said that, right? And I want to point out, like, let me tell Tim as well, because I know Tim, when me and Tim talked about it off air, he said, he asked me, like, to describe what Tainos are. He looked it up, he did the research, and I love that he did the research, he did his due diligence. That's B-Dot's purpose, to educate.
Yeah.
People act like just because you're from the hood or you're a gangbanger doesn't mean you're not conscious. Being conscious came for us in the hood. It came for us people in poverty and us as minorities.
It's crazy thinking about this, right? Like, as you know, France, my favorite rapper of all time is Nas, right? Nas dropped, I saw some ill homemade movies from him, like that just popped up on YouTube randomly. Dropped out in the 9th grade, right? But he's at home reading big ass books and like having these deep conversations with all the gangsters everywhere, like in the projects and stuff. And I remember even Crooked Eye would talk about, like, you know, he's studying with some of the deepest guys in Flatbush when he comes to New York and stuff. So the consciousness has always been there, you know what I'm saying? And it's like there's nothing wrong with doing the research and finding out if you don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, so we got the tools.
It's
right
meant
here.
for us.
Exactly.
We're supposed to get out of this area, the being in the hood, the ghetto, by educating ourselves. That's the point.
And that was the point of the hip hop. Hip hop was supposed to feed you that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like the favorite guys like KRS-One, Rakim, not only were they vicious on the mic and they were fly guys, but at the same time, you could learn something. You could learn how to be a better human, a better man, just learn how to move, how to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it's dope that you force that into your message. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, I'm just going to click over for like 5 seconds.
Okay, cool.
Hold on.
No problem.
Yeah, but let me tell you real quick, one thing that really moved me about the whole thing is just like, because it's funny, it's ironic, and we're going to tell B-Dot when he comes back. Cortez also wanted to deconstruct these rounds that Tim transcribed.
Yeah.
So I feel like they both did this battle not so much for each other, but for the Latinos that don't understand certain things, the blacks that say certain things like this, and they say, you know what, I'm gonna. Oh, yo, you back?
Yeah, I'm back, bro.
Okay,
yep.
So real quick, Bita, what I was saying, this is interesting. We had Cortez here to deconstruct a round as well, and he picked a round from this battle as well. And so what I was just saying to Tim and V is that I think you and Cortez had a conversation in this battle that's deeper than your guys individually. Like, you weren't so much talking to Cortez. Cortez wasn't talking to you. You were talking to the Latinos that aren't educated, the people that aren't educated on their heritage, their history, and what's going on in the ghetto. And Cortez is having a conversation with you that this is what's happening in my area. And I feel like you guys painted the vision of what you guys wanted to do with this battle.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute fact. And that's another reason why I did what I did, because I know that a lot of the brothers, a lot of the dudes in battle rap, they want to make this like juxtaposition with me, like, oh, we're over here and you're over there, like we're going through the struggle, we're going through the street shit, and you're over there in like academia world, and you're collegiate. You know what I'm saying? That shit boggles me, bro. I'm like, bro, I'm from the same shit you from, fam. I just picked up a book. Like, man, I mean, it's no different. You can be street and you can be knowledgeable, and actually, you know, being street, I don't even know what that consists of. You know what I mean? Like, I just think being a man is being a man. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? If you got any balls about yourself, we're all men. We're all trying to protect our family and feed our family and do what we got to do. So I even think the term like street nigga or street dude gets overused. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these guys, they want to have the conversation with me like they're street and I'm not. I think that's one of the things Cortez did. And it's cool. It's cool to do that because it actually, you know, goes into me trying to make that connection. So I actually need that type of opposition so that I can get my point across even better. Because you're standing across from me, and we woke up to the graffiti on the wall, fire line. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that I woke up to that same graffiti too, dog. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't understand, you know, the separation. So yeah, he made that conversation, and we needed that. Like I needed him to make that conversation so I could drive my point home and say, look, I'm just as street as you. However, I know this, that, and the third, and maybe perhaps you don't know this, so let me share this with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like the battle's so great.
Tim, I want to ask you.
Tim,
I have to ask you. You transcribed this battle. You got to talk to Cortez about how he felt about the B-Dot battle, vice versa. When you were transcribing it without talking to these guys and now talking to both of them, is this kind of like, oh my God, it all makes sense to me now, in a sense?
Yeah, no, this is surreal for me because, you know, I started doing this just because I'm a fan and I know that there's a lot of gems in here that I'm missing just as a casual, you know, viewer. And you almost have to break it down and, like, you know, type it out, look at it to try to, like, understand it because and B-Dot, I know a lot of people will say, you know, B-Dot goes really fast, and that's because you got so much content in your round. You kind of have to if you're going to be able to fit it all within the time constraints. But I think what's amazing about it is that you guys went about this battle in different ways, and I think Cortez was excited to take you because you were so hot after this Danny Myers battle, and so many people wanted to have you. You know, like so many people were like, "Who the fuck is B-Dot?" And I need to get him. You know, right. And so everyone was really excited about who's the next opponent B-Dot's going to take because he chose his own. He has a lane that is just him. You know. And who is he going to fire across? And so I don't know if I can speak for you guys, but I was really surprised to see that it was Cortez, and I'm really glad that it was because it ended up being such a classic battle. And I think that I know you said this before. People end up bringing their best material against you. And Cortez is a testament to that because. That his first round against you to me is one of the best Cortez, if not the best Cortez round I've ever heard. And so it like you kind of like force people to like bring their A game and to come about battling in a totally different way, where people aren't going to just come at you with just straight bars. They know that there's some more substance to it, and if they come at you with just bars, you're gonna kill them just on subject matter and angles and things like that.
But you know what's crazy, Tim? Not to cut you off, but you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
B-Dot can punch.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when B-Dot he doesn't want to build an angle or educate you, he's gonna punch, and he's pretty good at it too. That's just
Thanks. I need to work on it more.
No, man, no. I honestly, like that's a really good. Here's the thing, you know, URL always puts out, you know, strengths of each battler, and if you didn't have strengths in so many different categories, I mean, punching would be one of them. But I think that you're so unique in the other angles that you take that they kind of like dwarf these other attributes that you have that are so. That are way well above a lot of people that are in URL just doing it where that's their only strength that they have, where they only have punching. You know, you can go against a puncher and still punch and probably A, hold your own, B, win convincingly, but you have other things in your bag. And that's what I think makes you so unique. And it actually brings me to a question I've been wanting to ask, which is, are you surprised, B-Dot, that there aren't other battlers who have kind of learned from you and like kind of chosen the same lane as you? Because you've showed people like there is a whole nother side of battle rap. There's a whole nother skill you can use, and no one's using it, but you are, and that has become your trademark, and it's helped you. You know, it's made you unique. And are you surprised that other people haven't kind of picked up on this sort of uniqueness that you have and tried to, I don't know, almost copy it?
Well, I think you have to be true to self, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's something that you can just pick up on. I think that if you are someone who is passionate about history, passionate about quote unquote, you know, racial issues, passionate about injustices, I take those passions that I have about real life and I just apply it to battle rap. Now, I don't know everybody's heart or what's going on in every battler's heart and in their mind, but I don't know. I mean, I would just think that if nobody else is doing it, maybe they're just not as passionate as I am. They might care. Of course, it affects them because, I mean, pretty much 90% of battle rap, we're all black men. So I'm sure the things that I'm talking about affects them in real life. But perhaps they're just not as passionate at finding a solution to it as I am. And I don't think that you can teach that. And especially when it comes to like the research and the studying, like I've been researching and studying the things that I rap about since like 2011, So this isn't any information that you can, microwave. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just pick this up and be like, I'm going to talk about this because there's going to be some errors. Like you're going to make some errors. You're going to make some flaws. You have to cross-reference this stuff. And luckily for me, I have a lot of, dope scholars that I have, at the reach of my phone. I can just call people up and say, hey, what do you think about this? Which brings me to like this round. I was researching. I was trying to find the original spirituality of the Taínos, and I was having a hard time finding it. But I reached out to a brother that I built with by the name of Ngozi, who's a very, 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 very super duper smart scholar. That he's real well-rounded in terms of just history of all kind of different peoples, and he pointed me in the right direction. Now, had I not had him, I wouldn't have been able to mention the gods of the ancient Taínos when I told Cortez he should be worshiping them, or he should at least know about them. You know what I'm saying? So it's about really being into this as a researcher and as somebody that cares about this information. And I don't think that a lot of these guys do. So I don't think it's something that they could just be like, oh, I'm gonna get my beat out on today. I just don't think it's just not natural. It's just not an easy thing to do.
Tim, let me tell you.
Let me do a quick follow-up question. Okay, yeah, go for it.
I was going to tell you one thing that impacted me about the battle. Right now we're talking about the Taíno part towards the end of the round. And me being Dominican, like, it hits me because, like, I love this history where I feel like a lot of my Latinos don't know these things. They kind of downplay it. Like, older Dominicans, like the generation before me, my father and them. If you'll call V, because V's Haitian, right? So we're literally the same island, just a little line in between.
The Spaniards came and raped your side. The French came and raped my side, bro.
If my co-host can be Haitian and I'm Dominican, the world is beautiful.
Bro, you got to realize, man, like this is a big thing because once upon a time in our history, shit wasn't kosher between us. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is kind of big. I don't think people recognize, like, and it wasn't that long ago.
Right. It really wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
The Blood River wasn't that long ago.
Our parents' generation, if you tell them you're black, our parents would be like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And we're like, don't you understand that you are?
Dog, I went to vacation in the DR, right?
Yeah.
And they looked at my joint. They saw where I was born at. Yo, once they saw where I was born at, it's like the eyebrow raised up. The lady at the airport is giving me a harder time, making me wait. I'm like, yo, it's the same island. There's an invisible line that separates you and me. Get your mind out of your ass. Like, it's crazy to see how people can still be so affected by certain things like this, man. Like, it's trippy, man. Like, it's weird. You know?
Man.
It's weird.
Yeah, very true.
Hey, my follow-up question real quick was, so I know you get a lot of the Lux comparisons and stuff, and people, I saw in an interview you had said, okay, I might have picked up some things from him, and watching Lux kind of do this whole Black Knowledge thing with Calico gave me the idea that maybe there is a spot for me in battle rap. Maybe I can do something with this knowledge that I have. Do you think that, sure, any random battle rapper isn't going to just automatically just start picking up, just start doing like the same history and knowledge that you have because they don't have that knowledge. But do you think, or the hope is that people see you and say, hey, you know what? I have this knowledge. Maybe I can do battle rap too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love it, man, because then I could fall back.
Heavy as the head, man.
Yeah. Then I could fall back. Let me get like 2 or 3 more conscious brothers. And you know what? We don't even got to be from the same school of thought. You know
right. B-Dot's like, please, man, I need a break, bro.
Yeah, just be righteous. Just be righteous. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just, you can claim Moorish nationality. You could be a Hebrew Israelite. You could be Aboriginal. And if you're not familiar with these things I'm naming, let me know so I'll break them down to you. But you could be any one of those things, and I'll be good with it as long as you're on the side of righteousness and kind of like attacking these opponents about their street status and all this other stuff. If I can get a couple more guys like me, man, I'll be good, bro. I'll be good.
B-Dot.
Man, you know what? That actually makes me think about the Iron Diz battle because I think what made that battle so dope and why that was crowned as the best battle of the year for King of the Dot was that it wasn't just those two guys attacking each other. It was a bit about their history and their ancestry, and that's what makes it bigger than battle rap, you know. And that's what I think your third round had kind of been synonymous for is having this round that's bigger than battle rap.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just figure why not? You know what I mean? I don't see why people squander their opportunities. Like you're getting on a stage and literally you have the attention of everybody in the crowd. They're waiting. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you why not say something powerful and impactful? And then it's going to go on the internet and it's going to live forever. So why not say something people are going to remember you by, or say something that can affect change or inspire? Like, bro, I be damn near in tears at some of the messages I get, fam. Like, on Facebook and on Instagram, some of the DMs that I get from people that tell me that I inspired them, and, you know, single black mothers and say, you know, I have 2 sons and I don't want them to listen to any rap, but I let them watch your battles because you're teaching and you're giving off, you know, just upliftment and all these other things, man. It's like, that's what it's about, bro, because everything else is egotistical. Once you get rid of the ego and you really, like, you know, are comfortable with yourself, then you know that you have a greater purpose in this life. And I believe all of our purposes is to communicate with one another, you know, to human interaction. We're a social species. So it's about human interaction. And if there's issues within human society, then if you have the ability to communicate and through your artistry, then you should want to do something that contributes to the solution of what's going on in our human existence. You know what I'm saying? So why would you get up and just perpetuate bullshit just for entertainment? You know what I mean? It's like you have this gift. You have this gift of writing and rapping. I mean, use it, bro. Like, don't just entertain people with just filth and just nonsense. I mean, that's cool, and I even do it because I know I have to sprinkle in the sugar with the medicine and that whole, you know, saying. I get it. I do it. I'm not gonna say I don't have gun bars and yada yada yada, but it's like, dude, you gotta have a purpose with your shit though. Don't just go in there like, I'm going to act like a gangster on stage for these 9 minutes, these 3 rounds, and then I'm gonna get off stage and the act is over. So what did you just do? So you just went on stage and you didn't leave none of yourself on the stage? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can never do that, bro. I can never do that.
Let me tell you guys, I have a coworker, casual battle rap fan, only watches B-Dot.
Get out of here.
I can't debate with him because he doesn't think B-Dot loses. But it's amazing to know that there's people.
How did he get to just watching B-Dot battles?
He saw the Danny Myers battle.
Honestly, bro, I would say if I was to give a percentage, I would say like 60% of my social media fan base does not watch battle rap. They just watch a battle.
Yep.
So it's very common. It's very common. I can show you messages where people were actually messaging me, I hate battle rap. I don't get why people get up there and they disrespect each other and they talk about killing each other and raping each other's babies and all this other stuff. So I don't watch battle rap. However, B-Dot, I watch all your battles because you're always, you know, dropping knowledge and yada yada yada. So like my Instagram, especially on Instagram, like my Instagram followers, a large percentage. If I was just, you know, throwing a percentage out there, I would say at least 60% of them are not. They're not battle rap fans.
Let me tell you guys how I even got connected with B-Dot.
Tell us.
All I did was just, because I'm a battle rap guy. I've been following battle for 10 years. I just commented on his thing. Great performance. You should work on this. Like, I gave him criticism, but I wasn't giving him hate.
You got bashed?
And I got bashed. And I'm debating with his fans. But B-Dot sees, he's like, yo, he spent some real shit. Like, well, he's saying I could dig it. Like, and I actually have to do work on those things. And B-Dot said, yo, I respect your opinion. Don't worry about my fans. They love me. You're not gonna win with them.
The B-Dot Hive went crazy?
It's a fact.
Yo, that's crazy.
And then it wasn't just one. It wasn't just one. It was one-on-one. Then another one comment, and then another one tagging another one like, look at this guy. And then it was just like,
they said scud missiles at you,
I'm
boy.
getting a lot. I'm like, guys, I said B-Dot was fired.
Yo, don't mess with the B-Dot Hive, man. They're gonna get your ass. Yo, Dot, you said that with this battle, you wanted to enlighten Cortez and other people of Latin, Hispanic, or Spaniard backgrounds of some of this information.
Let's get back to that.
Did you feel that you accomplished this mission with that? Did Tez afterwards, like hit you up like, yo, I ain't even know that. Like, good looking. I'm gonna check that out. Like, did you feel like you accomplished your mission?
Cortez is, first of all, I'm a Virgo. Cortez is another Virgo.
Right.
Virgos are very prideful, very prideful. So I knew that I wasn't going to get like, yo, I didn't know that, or I didn't know this. I know I wasn't going to get that from Cortez. I knew I wasn't. But I did get some messages, from some fans, from some people out there, me personally, I'm not sure if you guys agree with this, but I personally don't even like using the terms Hispanic or Latino, because once again, they still point to an oppressor of all those indigenous people. So I don't like using those terms. So what I will say is that some of my indigenous brothers and sisters, which I would call whatever, Mexican, Latino, Hispanic, did reach out, and they did, say, we love what you did in that Cortez battle. You keeping it real for our ancestors and yada, yada, yada. So I got a couple, not a lot, just a couple, like a handful of messages like that. So that, to me, mission accomplished. Like I said, I just want to, I want to always be on the right side of history. I want to be on the side of truth. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that within itself was a mission accomplished. Just those few people hitting me up.
You and me, V, we're Dominican and Haitian. It hit us.
Facts,
and
man,
that was the thing that caught my attention the most. And this might sound like a funny question, but like, how was it when you started practicing the Spanish part of it all? Like, I know it sounds a little funny, but
he
like,
probably speaks a little Spanish anyway, right?
Listen, it was dope, man, because my best friend, he's basically my little brother. I call him little bro. My little bro goes by the name of Chris. He's black and Mexican. So his father's Mexican, his mother is black. So he speaks fluent Spanish. So he was helping me with it. You know what I mean? So it was fun. It was fun to learn. And to give you a backstory on me as well, my grandmother is African, but by way of Nicaragua. So my grandmother is from. Yeah, my father's mother is from Nicaragua, so she spoke Spanish. And she just passed away last year, but she spoke Spanish. And, I used to always pick up on it from her and shit. And I'm from L.A. I'm from L.A. County. I'm from a place called Pacoima inside of L.A. County. Pacoima is predominantly Mexican. So, I mean, like Spanish is just like second nature out here. So it was fun. It was fun learning it. It was fun. And I really was really nervous about it. I'm going to be honest. I was really, really nervous about that part. I thought that part would potentially come and I would like stumble or not get it out how I wanted to. Every time that I practiced it, bro, it was an issue. But when I did it live, that shit worked. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's just like adrenaline. You know what I'm saying? You're in the moment, you battling live in front of the crowd, and sometimes shit just carries you through, you know what I'm saying? But it was definitely fun to learn that whole like little sentence in Spanish and shit. It was dope.
Dot, I want to ask you a question. You being from Pacoima, which is mostly Mexican, as you said, over on the East Coast, we hear things, through the music. It's like there's, Black and Brown War that was going on for a while. I don't know how, if that's quieted down lately, or if that's gotten better. With you being a black man living in a predominantly, Mexican Latin hood, like, how did that affect you? What was it like that? Like, just from an outsider looking in, you know what I mean? Could you clarify a little bit of that for us?
Yeah, it's rough, man, because you go to school, you go to elementary school and junior high school and high school, and you got Mexican homeboys and shit. The cultures are very the same. I guess what I mean by culture, let me just say this. Let me clarify. Both blacks and Mexicans in to use the other words that you guys were using, Latinos, Hispanics, whatever, we are in hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? So we dress the same, we talk the same. So when you grow up with your Mexican homeboys in elementary school and junior high school and high school, everything's cool because you talk the same, everything's cool. It starts to get a little trickier in high school, though, because that's when people start banging hoods and start being from certain neighborhoods and this and that. So that was definitely an adjustment for me, having Mexican homeboys who ended up being from, rival gangs or having some type of affiliation with a rival gang. And even me, like I'm not a frontline gangbanger. Like I wasn't out here, terrorizing communities, but I'm so entrenched and I'm so affiliated with the neighborhood that I'm affiliated with that it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like these are just all the people I know. All the people I know were from Pacoima, Peru. So that's just everything that I knew. So a lot of my friends, a lot of my Mexican homeboys, they ended up being either affiliated with or actually from the neighborhood that have the Mexican neighborhood that have problems with my neighborhood. So it's a tricky thing, man. It's just like it's really no answer for it. It's just very unfortunate because that's so nuanced because not only is it a gang thing, it also becomes a racial thing. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like not only we don't like you guys because we're from this neighborhood and you're from that neighborhood, we also don't like black people.
Right. That's
so
what
now
I was.
You got your Mexican homeboys.
Yeah, that's what I was more so getting at because it's like, you figure if you go to L.A. and you just a brother just happen to be walking through some random hood, like, is it that critical? Like, you're black, you're in this hood, it could be over for you like that? Yeah.
In certain areas, absolutely. In certain Mexican neighborhoods, it's absolutely that critical.
That's crazy when you think about that, B.
Yeah, man, it's beyond crazy. It's beyond. There's been so many innocent murders of black people just being in the wrong neighborhood, like down in L.A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a racial thing at that point. And it's so sad and unfortunate because, like, bro, black and brown people need to stick together, if anything, because the police and the city is on both of our
they look at us the same.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's crazy, man. It's I don't even want to say it's getting better. It's just stagnant. You know what I'm saying? It's not getting worse. It's not getting better. It's just kind of like died down. But there's no like peace treaties or no unity between certain Mexican gangs and certain black gangs. It's just like it is what it is. It's just kind of the complete gang related crimes and gang related violence in Los Angeles and Los Angeles County has gone down like crazy. So. It's I don't know what's changing. I don't know why it's changing, but it's a good thing, Like there's a lot of less gang related murders and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely changing for the better.
I know.
But I wouldn't say Mexican and black relations are getting any better.
Wow. I know. Big U and Nipsey, they were mentioning that, with all the gang injunctions that were coming down, it was like you hanging out with your homeboys and something goes down, you could be doing like 20, 25, you know what I'm saying? So it just made it like, hey, what are we really out here trying to do? We trying to get to the bag and put kids to college? Or are we just trying to be out here banging a color and getting locked up off of something small, and now something that could have been a year is now 15 joints, you know what I'm saying? So they were like, from their perspective, they were saying like a lot of that. Sorry, say that one more time.
That's exactly what happened to my little god brother. He got put on the set a little later. Like he got put on the set like when he was like 20, 21. And the first mission, quote unquote mission that he did is they robbed some little place where you turn in cans and water bottles and you get like money
the
and
recycling
shit.
joint.
They robbed that or something, and then because of gang injunctions and because of who he was with, he got like 17 years.
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So that shit's real, bro. Gang injunctions are no joke. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a dirty game out here, man. And that's why, when I talk about my gang affiliation, it's not necessarily to glorify it, but it's to say I want to be an example on how to be from a neighborhood, because I'm not against that. I'm not against brotherhood. I'm not against organizing. I'm not against camaraderie and family. I get it. A lot of these kids come from broken homes, and the first thing that they gravitate to is their big homies or whoever's on the block, and I get that. But if we can get it back to its original premise, that's what I represent within this whole gang culture. I'm not out here, red flagging and dissing Crips and doing none of that. If anything, I'm trying to unify with as many Crips as I possibly can. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to unify with people in my own neighborhood who don't even like me. You know what I mean? I got people in my own neighborhood that don't like me.
And what's that like? What's that process like? The people that like kind of don't like you, and you try to bring everything together.
It's difficult, man. I have to learn when to be smart and when to get out the way, and whatever. Because it's like I can't fight all these battles. I have shit to do. I got a bigger purpose. I have shit to do, so I can't be down here, at the bottom of the bucket, so to speak. Fighting with you guys and going. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I got a bigger mission. So it's difficult and it sucks, man. It's really like heartbreaking, because it's like, you got people that's just like, want to say this and that about me, about if I'm actively in the neighborhood. And I'm like, obviously I'm not actively in the neighborhood. I'm married with children. I rap. I'm trying to do this and do that. So why do you want me to be in the neighborhood running around doing nonsense like I'm 13 years old? I'm a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult, man, especially when you try to come with positivity. And it's similar to the battle rap shit. You try to come with positivity, and they think you soft. Then they want to test you. Then you got to show them that you're not. And then when you show them that you're not soft in the realm of the real streets, you could potentially, go to jail or hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to just be smart, man. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing to balance, man. But you got to be smart, know when to stay out the way. Know when to get in the way.
You know what's crazy?
Like that.
You saying that just literally just made me flash to a couple of lyrics from Geechee's album where he's like, a lot of old heads in the way, you know what I'm saying? A lot of young cats trying to find a way, and other cats just need to get out of the way. So it's like, if they see someone like you who's making their way out, and they're trying to ask you why you ain't here going on missions doing this, that, and the third, it's like, bruh, your mind state is backwards at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes, it's not the time for that. Like, that time has passed already. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to elevate and help bring your people some more. You know what I'm saying?
That's why he wears the elevate hat.
That's right. There you go, man. Tying it right back in, man.
Yeah. That's an absolute fact, bro. Absolutely. I try to tie everything together. I try to have a theme, man, with everything. And it's like a class, you know what I mean? It's a subject. It's a subject matter that I'm trying to discuss.
You know
every battle, or even just the whole career, like all my battles together. If you tie them all together, they all are trying to say something, you know what I mean? And it all kind of works together.
Yeah, they're like little history lessons also, you know what I mean? Like, I try to, it's dope because it's like with this show, we try to make sure, like, yo, if people hear your interview and they listen to it, no matter who we're interviewing, we want to make it like this is a time capsule, and you can get like from front to back and understand exactly who the person is. And with you, man, you're laying down history and like lessons that kids who can learn it this way and don't necessarily want to sit down and read it through a book, they can get it, pick it up. And now with technology, it's like, oh, that's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. And like everyone's on to some knowledge now. Like,
what's my favorite thing? Like the mindset as well, where it's like he can separate history to how he feels currently and what we need to do to progress. Because, like he said, like when some Spanish people call themselves Latino, he says that's still kind of referencing the oppressor in the past. Right. And so the term Afro-Latino, where you kind of combine it all in junction, he understands that that's like a term the oppressors gave us at the time. But even though he doesn't agree with the term Afro-Latino, he has love for brown and black pride, where he's like, we're still in this together. Just because I don't agree with certain things doesn't mean I separate you from the race. We're in this together. And you know as well as history. History. Mexicans used to get lynched, V.
Yeah.
Law of Noose.
All day, man.
It's the law of Noose where Mexicans would get lynched as well. And it's just deep, and I love it because it's like we understand where it's from, and we're like, we need to just combine together.
Yeah, man. Like he said, this is black love, brown pride. Shaka Zulu meets Moctezuma. It wouldn't be LA without Mexicans. I got Tupac to prove it. All my essays rock big T's, so you know they will chalaka boo it. You know what I'm saying? Here's another, some ill lines I like, man, from this joint. You'd rather let the boys be boys, get slammed.
that's a perfect segue for what we were talking about in terms of coming together as a people.
Yeah.
I laid everything out in this battle, and that's why I love that round so much, because I laid it all out right there, man. Like, I gave everybody the complete picture. People thought I was coming in to disrespect Mexicans or disrespect Hispanic people and say all this bullshit, and I came in there like, no, this is. I wasn't even referencing Cortez when I said it. I'm saying myself. I'm Shaka Zulu meets Montezuma, Black Love and Brown Pride. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying that's what I'm about. I'm Shaka Zulu and Montezuma. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just, it's dope, man. I just love that round.
You know what's funny? All right, cool. Because me just reading it back, you know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily think that you were talking about yourself and personifying yourself as that, but you saying that is kind of an ill clarification, and you busting it down that your grandmother's also from Nicaragua too, with the, you know what I'm saying? With the Latin background. I just I just thought he was just saying, you know what I'm saying, Black pride and brown love, you know what I mean? But when you saying, now that we know more of his background, that's why ties everything together.
That's why I love the deconstructs.
Hello.
Even when you think you caught it, you ain't catch it.
Hello. You should have saw my face. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, let me go back on this joint right here, man.
A lot of people were misquoting the line, and they were saying that I said this is Shaka Zulu versus Montezuma, but I didn't say. You know, a lot of people thought I said that, and I was saying like Cortez was Montezuma, and I'm shocked. I was exactly. that completely goes against the whole point of what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So when they say that, they weren't listening.
We're just so conditioned as battle rap fans to just go for the separation and negativity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just so conditioned to that, man.
Exactly.
That's ill, man.
Exactly,
That's
bro.
Ill. Wow.
No, I said this is Shaka Zulu meets Montezuma, and I'm talking about myself and what I represent in terms of me supporting the Black Love, Brown Pride movement. So I said, I was making that statement from my standpoint.
Right, facts, man.
And I think it's dope that you the very next line is, it wouldn't be LA without Mexicans. They got Tupac to prove it. And what I think is dope about that is you're bringing in Tupac, who, I mean, I don't care what color you are, everyone loves Tupac, you know? And so you're like, yo, let's combine these two different races and work together. And you know what?
Yeah.
You know who else thought that? Tupac. You know? So if you don't like me, I know you like Tupac, you know what I mean? So we're on the same wavelength here, man. That was a good way to do it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Now I can see why this is one of your favorite rounds. But you know what? Man, I gotta say, you guys definitely took a risk in this, because he set the tone with his background, his childhood, and then you took it deeper into how do we come together. Did you guys at one point realize like we were both gonna take this risk, and people might have not been receptive to it?
Well, you know me, I know for sure that every time I hit the stage, I'm taking a risk, because I'm coming into battle rap with some type of message.
But it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think that I wouldn't call Cortez's approach a risk, because it's easier to be the guy that's talking to the conscious guy. You know what I mean? Because the perspective, the overall narrative is that whenever I'm on the stage, I'm the only conscious guy in the room. That's the supposed narrative. And my as a picture of why are you in our culture trying to point fingers at us, coming with all this pretentious shit and da-da-da-da-da, and you're conscious, you're acting like you're holier than now, and yada yada yada. That's the perspective my opponents use. I mean, Swave literally said, we battle rap to stay away from the shit you're talking about. He literally said that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, Cortez, even though it does take two to tango, I think it's easier. I don't think it's a risk to say, to paint the narrative and make the juxtaposition between the two of, like, I'm from the bottom. I grew up with graffiti on the wall. You study books. You read books. So what? Yada yada yada. That's more relatable to the whole crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like the general consensus is going to agree with that. My shit is way more risky, because I'm actually dropping gems that may not be known. Like just may not like Tim was saying. He had to go Google it and look it up. So I'm taking that risk. Every time I hit the stage, I'm taking a risk that I'm dropping material that's probably going to have to be researched after, which means that they might not score me the round because they don't even know what I'm saying. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
I think that I'm the one that's taking the extra risk.
and it's funny you say that. And now I guess we could like kind of talk about a little more current. It's crazy, like with the Sway Sever battle. Look, I'm gonna point something funny out, B-Dot. I'm not gonna lie, right? And you know, I always keep it real. You do have one really strong weakness, and I've noticed it, but people haven't learned how to fully take advantage of it.
What's that?
Humor. When people start their rounds with a joke, it's the most effective thing against you. But the problem is they do too much jokes, and then it gets corny after a while. But when they do that, the crowd, like, it lightens the room and the tone, and it almost like nullifies a little bit of what you did because, you know, people are in thought-provoking mindset with you, and somebody starts laughing. And so, like, I know with the Swave battle, you're probably upset where it's like why'd you pick this angle again? Like,
no, my thing is like that shit is cool. Like I have no problem with humor. I just feel like, bro, that type of shit. Like I'm black. I guess because I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about the shit I'm talking about. I don't see how a room of black people could find it funny to mock pro-blackness.
Isn't it crazy? But they loved it.
No, but hold on.
It's crazy.
I will say this, though. I think when we walk into a venue or a room where we know battles are going down, I think that's the point where we kind of suspend some reality. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where some of the entertainment part comes in, because obviously we're all smart brothers on the phone here. You know what I'm saying? We're all into each one teach one, you know, better yourself and all that. But it's like when you walk into a battle room, all like everything is just suspended now. Now it's all about the entertainment. If it's funny, we gonna laugh. If you kicking some knowledge and it's hard hitting, we gonna scrunch up our face. If you throw in some punches, we gonna go for it all. So I hope that you're not taking it as like people in the crowd just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Or they're like, fuck this. It's not. It's like, yo, we're here for the entertainment of it. But when we do step out, you know, we step back into reality and we know like, what B-Dot's doing is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't laughing at that.
Well, to make it most effective, all they got to do is one or two jokes and then go back
moving,
to. But Swift's second round was all jokes. Yeah. Cortez, half of his second round was a Lux joke going into a bar. So, like, these guys start the humor and they get a good reception, but then they keep it going. They're not comedians.
I think if I might jump in, I think with Dot, it's like your writing can be so heavy, and it's like we're fully there paying attention that it's like for the other MC, they're watching people get tuned in, listening to what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they're like, wait a minute, I got to sway these people emotions back the other way and break this ice right here. Like, you got to be.
Is that?
It ain't easy, bro.
We saw it in the building. The start of that second round, he knew, I got to turn this all the way back up. What's the mindset at that moment?
To be completely honest, you know, and to say that, I don't mean to say this disrespectfully to Swabe or any of my opponents, but my perspective at that point is like, let me get back to showing y'all who's real and who's not. Like my opponent, I just feel like my opponents. Here's my thing, and I get it. The jokes, they work. I can never write anything down that I didn't truly mean. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is, if after the battle, Swave was being interviewed, and he said he on multiple different channels, he said, I agree with a lot of shit B-Dot was saying. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Like with the third round, and when I was talking about, you know, would you like your son to hear all these other niggas talking about guns? So he said he agreed with me. So that tells me that you wrote that funny, I'm blackity black and I'm black, y'all. You wrote that just as a cheat code kind of way. Like, because you don't. Right. My point is, you don't really mean that. Like, we wouldn't be out in the street and the police roll up and I'm talking on the behalf of us as a people about, you know, police brutality, and I'm trying to keep the police off our ass. You're not going to stand there and be like, oh, look at this I'm blackity black ass nigga right here. You know?
Yo, this is why it's hard to beat him, though. This is why it's hard to beat B-Dot, because it's like they will try to tap into the things that will beat a battle rapper outside of content, where it's like they try to use the elements against him, but they forget he can perform and punch as well. So he's like, okay, guess what? I'm making a history lesson entertaining.
Right.
I know how to be entertaining without being conscious,
and that's difficult within itself. B.
Right. That's why it's difficult to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I felt like in my opinion, from what it looked like, B-Dot was disappointed in how Swave approached him.
Yeah. Is that safe to say?
I was disappointed.
We saw it in your face.
My thing is like don't even take the battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even take the battle if you're not trying to really go there and have some type of conversation. Like, if you're just gonna come at me like, oh, you're a hypocrite, just the usual angles, like you're a hypocrite,
right.
how you gangbanging and how you conscious, already displayed how with the very round that we talking about right now. I'm trying to think of who did really good. I thought Verb did really well.
Yeah, that's the only battle I have you losing. And I told you this look, that's exactly how you and I got connected, and I think you respected that. I told you why I thought Verb beat you, and I broke it down, and I said it's because Verb learned how to use the elements and content, where everybody else just tries to use the elements, not necessarily content.
Yeah. See, Verb, I guess I appreciate and respect when the person is as passionate about what they're saying as I am, and they're not being funny. Like he did, he had one little "We're brothers, we're singing and we're coloring."
Exactly, and he stopped. And that was it.
And that was it. Yeah.
That was it. And then after that, he really meant everything else he said. I don't agree with what his perspective. However, it's dope when the person is passionate about what they're saying and they're not just trying to create content just to be in opposition. I feel like Swave created content that doesn't exist outside of rap. Like if me and Swave sat down and had dinner and was discussing our battle, he's not going to say the same.
He would agree with you, yeah.
Right. He's going to agree with me like, yeah, of course, black people need to do this or black people need to do that. Yeah, I'll focus you on that. He's not going to disagree. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like I don't know. The Swave battle, like I was thoroughly disappointed, man. I just felt like I dropped a dirty 30 on him, like disgusting. Like
who do you think has done the best against you?
Well, Verb.
I would just say Verb because of the time constraints.
Really?
I think Verb dodged the bullet with the time constraints. You know what I'm saying? I think it was smart on him to say 2 minute rounds. Obviously,
and it's still debatable.
That means that.
And it's still debatable.
For sure.
That's
crazy. I think I won. I think I won for sure, and I can respect you saying Verb won. I won the first and the third, but yeah, I think that he did the best. I think he for sure did the best, and I don't think this is me personally, but I'm me, so I'm being biased to me. But I don't think any other battle was close. I think that Verb came the closest, and I think Swave is the widest margin of victory that I ever had. So, you know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah.
You don't think you and Loso is close?
No, I don't think it's close because the battle, and shout out to Loso, that's my bro. I don't want to.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it's like you guys are parallel universes in a sense, and I love that you guys battled each other early, and now you both are coming up together, and you guys are battling on this next URL card together. It's incredible. Look at where you guys came from a year ago.
That's my bro right there. I just felt like the battle wasn't close information wise. I feel like that battle was supposed to be very, very informative. It was supposed to be like information based, not just necessarily like punching or who can out rap the other person. I thought a lot of information was supposed to be disseminated, and I think that he kind of missed that. I think that he should have did a lot of research on like African spirituality and Kemetic science and different things like that I follow. And I think he should have did research on it and I think he should have tried to find flaws in it, like from a theological perspective, to where we could have had like a real debate, like, well, I believe in Jesus because this and that reason, and then you believe in this, but that's flawed and this is flawed, and what you know what I mean? He didn't do a lot of that. He just did a lot of defending Christianity while I was presenting information. So for me, that battle should be scored off of information. Who was providing the information to debunk the other's perspective, the other's theology, the other's religion, the other's spirituality. if you look at it like that, like I said, I don't even think it's close in that regard. If you're just looking at it from like a battle rap standpoint, then yeah, it's probably a debatable battle. He had a really great first round.
His first round was great.
Second and third.
I got you 2-3. His first round was great. First round was great, and I just love what I love the type of content you guys do bring and the way you guys have elevated. Where it's like, and you guys also are breaking the mold. I've talked about this in the past. You guys kind of like jumped the finish line or the start line, I should say, and did a PG on a main stage card. Yeah. And so I think about that. I'm like, and guess what? They both have the same amount of battles, 13 battles.
Oh, that's ill.
Right?
That's ill. I ain't noticed that.
Well, a little more. Yeah. I think now Loso passed him probably like 14 because he just did one more than him this year. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's an absolute fact, bro. Shout out to my bro Loso. He's definitely cooking. I gotta call him pretty soon too, because we spar a lot.
Oh yeah, spar.
I pretty much.
Can I just say I would love to see I would love to see in the near future a one round of these guys just punching. Like no content, just because like I said earlier, B-Dot can punch.
Right.
Loso, you know, he brings his persona. He's a great writer, a great puncher, a good angler, entertainer, and he understands the elements. Both you guys have mastered your content and also can contain the elements of like, yo, we can rock a crowd.
I don't want to see that. I want to see a competitive cipher between these guys.
Oh, that'd be dope too.
That's what I want to see.
That's doper. You're right.
I want to see that. I want to see
doper.
some flexing of the. Go ahead.
Let me just tell y'all right now.
Birdman hand rubs right now. Here we go.
I'm not even gonna be humble on this one.
Okay.
The one thing I'm humble about battle rap. I'm humble about battle rap. You feel me? I'm humble about battle rap. If it's no beat and it's acapella, I think everybody has a chance because you're able to stretch your words. You don't have to be on a certain time stamp, and it's different. You can stretch your words, you can elongate punches. That's cool. If you throw a beat on, there's not one person in battle rap that can rap better than you.
This is some MC talk right now, man. This is some MC talk right now, man. See, I need more competitive ciphers in battle rap because that's the acapellas are dope, but I come from an era where I was taping when Pun and Cannabis and Nori was up there. I had that on the tape. We went on the senior trip and I said, yo, y'all ain't heard this? We gonna listen to this right now. And we all sitting back going, whoa. And each guy has a different style and they have to fit to the beat. And that's like when that's when you're supremely gifted. When you can say what you need to say, flex styles, and stay on the beat. Come on, man. Like, and I think we have so many dope MCs, but we don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get that. Like, we need another one of those BET type ciphers. One take also, man. We got to do it live. Fuck all that. We doing multiple tapes and piecing it together because I know there's a couple of cats they had to do that with. We ain't gonna talk about it, but I need to see who's really about this, man, for real. Who's a samurai for real?
You know what's dope, and then some of the guys upbringing and B-Dot's, I wouldn't say class, but necessarily the guys that are building a legacy. Yeah, him, Loso, Geechee, they're MCs.
They rap. Geechee's album is fire. A-Ward's fire. Man, I got to get to a bag, man, so I could like start doing this like on a real level and bring some real MCs to really just go up on that stage, throw that beat on, man, and see what's what. You know what I'm saying?
That's why him and Mike P respect each other so much.
Facts, and they went at it, and I respect it, and it was fire.
I love the diss records before the battle.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it.
I had one for JC, but it was so good I had to just put it in my round.
He said nope. Yo, he wrote it to the beat and he said, wait, nah.
Hey, listen, man. There's a freestyle of JC on the internet in the studio. I think you can save your rhymes, man. Keep it in the joint, you know what I'm saying? And rock out. Is the writing?
Yeah, JC need to stay out the booth. I'm fully aware.
All right, so B-Dot, what's understood ain't got to be said.
That's a fact, bro.
Yo, I saw that joint. I was like, whoa, okay, man. Stick to the acapellas, bro. You know what I'm saying? Is the writing process? Is the writing process?
That's why I'm so confident, bro, like, because it's when a beat is on, it's all about rhythm and cadence and flow, and those are things that you can't teach. you can actually teach somebody to punch in battle rap. Like it's really not that difficult because you're just talking and you don't necessarily have to have a bounce to it. You can literally be like, I walk up on you with the burner and then something. And then I come through and it's something. Like, it's not, it doesn't take any like skill of rhythm and knowing exactly like what instrument you need to land your words on. You gonna are you rapping on the hi-hat? Are you rapping to the snare? Like it's a whole different shit with the shit. So a lot of these dudes can't do it. And not only can they not do it, they've never really been able to do it, and now they're getting so caught up as battle rappers that they're training themselves to rap like that all the time. Yeah. So when you think these dudes get lost, bro. Like I can't wait to do a URL cipher. I feel bad for anybody that's in the same room with me doing a cipher. They're gonna get embarrassed, bro.
This is what I'm talking about. Talk, B-Dot. This is what I'm talking about, man. See, this is that MC talk right here, man.
That's why you gotta like you appreciate Geechee Gotti so much.
I would prefer the beat to be a double time beat, right? Because I put them on everything I love. I guarantee you nobody can rap better than me on a double time beat, like at all. It wouldn't even be close, bro. Like I will twist the Tech 9 some shit up, bro. They have no idea, bro.
Oh,
they have no idea.
You gonna hit him?
I don't know, man.
You gonna hit him with the sugar free?
But that's what I was saying. That's why you would appreciate like Geechee so much. Or he's like he's killing it in battling right now, and then his album was fire.
What I love about it
balance. I don't think people can really find the balance. That's what it is, right? Be that like the balance between MCing and battling is just that
it's difficult. Two different things. It's two different worlds.
Yeah, and it's because these guys are battle rappers trying to make music. Me and Geechee are musicians, are rap artists that just so happen to be able to battle rap. It's different. It's different. Like Loaded Lux is a rap artist that just so happens to be able to battle rap. You know what I mean? Like Lux makes great music. Who else? Suge's music is not too bad. I'm not going to call it like great or say nothing like that, but it's decent. I would call him a rap artist that can battle.
Surf is the most streamed battler. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Surf makes good music and he can battle. So you have rap artists that can battle, and then you have battle rappers that are trying to be rap artists, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I told France earlier that if you heard Geechee's album, you wouldn't think that he's as good of a battle rapper as he is.
Like if you didn't know he battled.
Like if you didn't know that he battled and you just heard the album, you'd be like, oh, this album is fire. And you'd be like, these songs are really, really good songs. But you wouldn't think that he would be on the stage killing cats the way he's killing it. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta add Verb to that list. Bliss was amazing.
Facts. Bliss was a fire album, man. Verb's album was fire.
You like
also.
Bliss? Be that?
Huh?
Did you like Verb's project, Bliss?
Oh yeah. Verb shit was dope.
Shit was dope. I didn't expect Verb's album to be so damn positive. You know what I'm saying? Because I follow Verb his entire career. You know the kind of character he's been his entire career.
Verb.
So I put it in the ride, and I'm like, wait a minute. Verb's teaching people how to be better men, how to live their lives properly, how to get shit going in the right direction, love your woman. I'm like, where's this Verb been? But it's good to see that he's gotten to that point. So maybe you know what I'm saying? I was happy about that.
Diet.
Yeah, facts, man. Facts.
Team vegan.
That vegan gang, I'm telling you, y'all got to make the switch, man. The vegan gang, bro.
Facts, man. I be dipping and dabbling, man. Trying to make the full-time switch over, man. For real, man.
Nah, I'm messing with you, man. One thing I'm not judgmental, bro. I get it. Look, veganism works for me, bro. That don't mean it's gonna work for everybody, you know.
Disclaimer included.
Now, like I'll go on runs. I'll go on like a 3-4 month run or whatever, and then I'm like, all right, I got the discipline down. I did my thing, and then sometimes I sway back over or whatever. But life is about balance. You know what I mean? And
going back to what we said, everybody don't got them chakras in order, right?
Exactly, but ain't nothing wrong with working on them. You know what I mean? Facts. Get your crystals and your minerals and all that, man. Big facts, man. But Big France, man.
Damn, beat up, man. It's about that time, brother. And this was an amazing conversation.
Yeah, man.
I know every time I talk to Beat, it's gonna start with battle rap and it's gonna end very far left, and it's It's one of my favorite things about.
Facts, man. B-Dot, before we bounce, do you have anything coming up that you'd like to share with our audience and let them know? Any projects, any movies, anything?
I know he was in the studio for a minute because when we hear his battle shit and his hair grew, I'm like, oh, his music's about to be fire.
I know, man. I know the label's got you hemmed up. I know you got some issues going on, man. Well, what's going on, bruh?
Yeah, I got some music done, man. There's just an issue with this independent label that I signed with, but I'm at a point where I don't give a fuck. I mean, what I was trying to do is I was trying to, release my shit, through iTunes and Tidal and all those streaming services. But due to my contract and what I'm kind of tied up in that I'm still trying to get out, it might not be a good idea to do that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to drop my shit for free. Mm-hmm. Just because I'm sitting on some dope music, man. I'll probably just drop my shit for free on my SoundCloud pretty soon.
Nice.
And I'm probably gonna start releasing some new records pretty soon. I just sent my shit over to get mixed. I sent some records over to my engineer to get mixed the other day. So I'm waiting to get those back, and then excuse me. And then I'm gonna give them my team and talk to my manager and think and then just strategize on how to just drop some records and shit like that. So that's all it is, man. Trust me though. I've been at work and I got some dope records.
We know. Hey, whenever you dropping those joints, man, holla at us. We would love to debut one or two of them, get the backstory behind it, the producers, highlight it. You know what I'm saying? Because when brothers are working outside of the ring, that's one thing we like to stress and highlight, man. So whatever projects you got going on, let us know, man, and we'll make sure to tap in and get it out to our audience, man, because we love that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. I appreciate that for sure. For sure, we'll do.
Facts, man.
Damn, man. I'm mind blown at just the growth, like, just to close things off, of like literally a year ago, he kind of was rebelling. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to do the URL thing. Right? He didn't want to do the URL thing. He hold on. I'm going to say a funny one. He ducked Verb in St. Louis.
Oh, he ducked Verb in St. Louis.
Right? and then hold on. Let's paint more narratives before we close this off, right? Was a favorite against Verb.
Right. It's a favorite in every battle.
Was a favorite in every battle.
I hate that, man. I don't know. I want to be the underdog for once.
Listen,
God damn it.
Oh man, that's gonna be the running joke now, man. That's crazy. B-Dot is a 4-1 favorite versus JC now,
and then creates his classic with Loso, his class. Mm-hmm. Finally debuts against Emerson Kennedy, proves the world he can punch. Yep. Is at home. Has a great battle with Mike P.
Another New York,
and passes the New York test. Like the growth in a year is incredible.
And now he's got to pass the URL East Coast test. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be fire, man. Yo, B-Dot, we also know you got those impersonations, brother. I'll be peeping your impersonations on the low, man. We need to see more of that side, man. Bring that funny side out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'll be hearing the impersonations in the battles. You ain't low with that. You ain't low with that. We peeped that, man. But man,
bro.
Man, to everyone listening, man, hit your boys up. Matter of fact, this is the first deconstruction with all of us on it, right?
Yes, sir.
Facts, man. So Tim, man, thank you, brother, for joining the team, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This has been great.
B-Dot, thank you for coming on board and helping us get some more clarifications on some of the battles and even helping us correct a couple of the things on this on your lyrics tonight, man. We can't thank you enough, my brother, for real.
Nah, man, the pleasure's mine, man. I appreciate y'all. This is fun for me. This is what it's all about, man. Dope. Being very clear about my point and my message and my rounds, and y'all giving me the opportunity to break it down. So I appreciate y'all, for real.
Thank you, man.
It's just crazy, man. To somebody wrote it. And then
someone transcribed
it that he doesn't know who it is, and then it comes together. Like, I wonder what it was like for B-Dot's side to have somebody just write it. He's like, I don't know who this person is writing it, and he wrote it up.
Like, man, wait, this ain't my shit, man.
Basement, you know?
I appreciate it.
Facts, man. Big France, take us home, player.
Hey, B-Dot, do you have any other battles locked in yet? I mean, obviously we know the JT is coming up. Is there anything else that you got? I know you can't say, but is there anything else locked in?
Well, I can say that after this JC one, I for sure have. Let's just say.
2-on-2?
Let's just say. Yeah, I have the 2-on-2, but let's just say. After this JC one, you'll see me on URL in a lot.
In a lot. Okay, all right, player.
In a lot.
I'm looking forward to B-Dot's building his legacy and covering it.
This is gonna be ill, man. This is gonna be
But we always
ill.
keep it a buck, though.
We're gonna keep that energy.
I gotta stay consistent. I need you to keep it a buck, man, because I need you to push me, bro. So do your thing. It's all good.
Thanks, man.
Yo, bro, my brother, man, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Always, bro. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace, my brother.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
All right, y'all.
Peace. You gonna do the sign out?
Hmm?
No sign out?
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, that's something at the end or whatever. That was fire, man. Hold on, is Tim still on?
No.
Okay, he's done? All right. Hello? All right. We'll text him. We'll get in the group.
I'll call him outside.
Yeah.